Well, hello there, Joe. How the heck are you?
I'm pretty good, Julian. And how are you watching us right now as well? Welcome to the most unrehearsed video show I've ever done.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's still I'm looking here on LinkedIn, and all I'm doing is circling. It's live. It's going there, but for some reason on my feed, it's just waiting. It's hooked. But we're there. Hello, world. This is Monday Makeover Live, and I tell you what, you're right, Joe. This is about as unrehearsed as it gets. This is an idea that was germinated all a handful of days ago, and we have had maybe all 25 or 30 minutes discussion about this. Uh, but
Yep.
there was a seed there, and we went, why don't we
Yeah.
come on and use my video experience and your audio experience and literally our combined decades of experience and help other speakers, coaches, writers, thinkers, authors, creators, all these people who've got to turn up in a virtual or video sense and struggle because, you know, it's not easy, is it, Joe?
Well, I'll tell you what happens is when you look at a video that someone else does, it appears to be simple. And that's kind of the big trap that most people fall into, right? You see someone else do it, it looks effortless. And so you believe it's effortless. And so you put no effort in. But yeah, it's lots of stuff that you can do to make your stuff, I would say, 10 times better than what it currently is. And I think the idea was let's put it out there and say, okay, if we were going to do makeovers for you, would you come and do it with us live on the air? So we just put a bit of blood in the water and see who would take the bait. And I got to say, actually, I am surprised as well as pleased that we have someone who's come forward to say he'll do it, because being coached live, it's pretty daunting, because much as we don't know what we're going to say and how we're going to do it, this coachee of ours who has volunteered themselves has no idea either, so they're kind of taking a big risk.
Yeah, and yeah, what I love about this, and I encourage people to come on and do this, is that one of the keys, like we talk about, yeah, the lighting and it looks good, it sounds good, and all that. And once you nail that down, what really works is turning up in an authentic sense, being willing to be imperfect, be willing to be vulnerable. All these things are really what propels your videos these days. So to be able to come up and maybe that's not you. Maybe you're not someone who likes to be imperfect, but to come on with Joe and I here, it's a safe space. It really is. And maybe this could be the technical start of a new journey for you, but it also could be, in a sense, a presentation new start for you as well. So to me, that's almost as exciting, Joe.
Yeah, I was going to say it's about showing up and actually putting the runs on the board, right, or taking a swing at the ball. And I've got to admit, for myself, I mean, I have all this gear and all this stuff, and I don't put that much stuff out because I spend too much time thinking about doing the stuff. And what I like about this particular arrangement is I got in touch with Julian after he said we should do something together, and I was thinking it's going to be a few months long process before we come up with something and say, okay, now we're ready to launch a beta. But no, we're live. We're here. It's a Monday makeover with a live guest, and let's see if we can make some big changes.
Yeah, yeah. And as just to tell people the reason that when you came to me and I said, what about next Monday? Why don't we just go and do it? Because I have this philosophy: fail quickly,
Yeah.
fail quietly. And, like, I mean, if you put this stuff out there and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, shut it down and go on and try something else. And eventually, if you keep iterating, something will, hook in there and you'll get some leverage and off you go.
Well, all these things come around from your experience in different fields, right? I think we pick up pebbles or treasures in our journey. And what I hear from you when you talk about this failing fast, moving along, and just trying out stuff, is actually the hallmarks of a professional magician, right? The professional magician understands that you're going to just give it a shot, learn, get some feedback, and then move on and try again. We don't take in magic, you don't take failure as personally. At least you shouldn't, so that you can learn from it and then move on and do something else. Same for comedy and stuff like that. So that's a spirit I struggle with, because I used to be on radio, and we worked on the high wire with a large audience. So in that sense, there's a sense that the failure is large, but I mean, it really is just a fear of failure. Sometimes we don't want to try and put ourselves out there because we don't want to get a slap in the face. And for me, one of the things that I have trouble with is when I get a viewership of 5 or 10. I initially, when I was doing this online stuff, I went, oh, this feels so different from what I was used to in terms of radio, because I had an audience of 300 to $400,000, 400,000 people a week. And when you have an audience of 12, and it's actually not a bad audience when you're starting out something online, but you've got to I think what you have to do is also just go out there and just do it. I mean, there are lots of videos out there with very small viewerships belonging to some very big names, and you'd be surprised if you went to look out for them. You'll find that there are videos by famous people that are not watched either.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, the competition is so fierce out there that if you're going out there to think that you're going to get big numbers, you're going to be sorely disappointed. And if you do get big numbers, I mean, all power to you. I mean, it's
Yeah.
wonderful. But you also got to remember that the content we put out there, it might not get live viewers, but it's recorded and it stays there, and it's part of your digital footprint. This is very much expanding your digital footprint, and because it's not, the old saying, it's not who you say you are, it's who Google says you are. And so
Yeah.
you can say that you're an experienced virtual presenter, but when people go on and look, if they don't see you all around the place, I mean, it doesn't marry up. I mean, there's not an integrity there with what you're saying
Yeah.
and what you're actually doing. So this is a great opportunity. Yeah, Joe, I'm sure we're going out there. My LinkedIn is just struggling. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, hello. We've got 6 people watching. Hello, 6 people. Hello, 6 people out there. If you want, although given that my bandwidth is so struggling so much, I'm barely seeing it come up here. If you want, you can come on to telljulian.com if you want to come on and join us and have a conversation. Probably crash the whole system. We'll see. We'll
Right.
see how it goes. Look at Joe. He's here going, "Oh, what are you doing? That's not so." But you can come on and be part of the conversation, because we want to do life coaching, but we also want to build community around this, because
Yeah.
being a virtual presenter, it's a lonely sort of a gig. We sit in these little rooms and do it by ourselves. So, if we can build community, that would be wonderful too. Well, with that, Joe, I think we should bring on our guest sitting very patiently there. Hello, Yuntai.
Hello.
So,
Hi.
hello. Yeah. Well, welcome. This is what you're seeing over there. Let me just change that to yours. There you go. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Yuntai.
Okay. Thanks for having me on the show, Julian and Joe. So actually, Joe posted the request on a group chat. I'm not sure if you're aware of the APSS, but that's how we got to know each other. What I'm doing now, I'm a life coach as well as a financial advisor. So you can see on my YouTube channel, it's the Happy Retirement Tribe. So that's my community, and I aim to use my channel as a platform to educate people on topics like mindset as well as finances. Yeah.
All right. So, uh, who is your audience? Like with the videos. So I know who your clients are. You were saying, I mean, happy retirees, but who is your audience?
My audience will be people in their probably in their 30s to early 40s. So people who are interested in topics like mindset, in topics like retirement planning and finances. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And so, what have you been doing with video so far? I mean, when did you start using video? How long have you been doing this?
I've just started pretty recently. My YouTube channel is actually pretty old, but in terms of content creation, it's more during the COVID times in 2020 as well as 2020 to 20 to current, yeah. So this is when I started creating more content, yeah, because of COVID.
And what did you when you first started video a couple of
Mm,
years ago?
mm.
Were you what did you feel about it?
Um, Actually, it's still a challenge that I am still not very clear what kind of content I should put out there. Yeah, so you can see the videos are a little bit kind of random. Yeah, that's the first challenge, and the second challenge is I did have some fear of public speaking in a way, like how do I appear in front of camera. Yeah, but I think right now I'm pretty comfortable in front of camera. So in fact, not just on the YouTube, I think I've did quite a few live interviews as well. So I've interviewed various personalities. So some of them are disabled because of this movement to help the disabled people as well. Yeah. So I've done quite a few live interviews on Facebook, and I've also done a few like dialogue sessions on Facebook as well. So I'm more comfortable with it now. But my challenge, I think, moving forward is first of all, as I mentioned, to find a very clear kind of content strategy. That's number one. And number two, how do I present better and engage better on video?
Right, right. Yeah. So, I mean, this whole idea that you have to be clear on your content, I mean, you're absolutely right, but it is also a process. And you're saying that well, look at my YouTube channel, it looks a bit all over the place, but this is the process that we have to go through. I mean, the fact that you are making videos and putting them up there is exactly what you need to be doing. And even just by doing that, then I mean, my first thing when I look at your channel here, yeah, it is random, but that's okay. But so my first thing is you look great in your yellow t-shirt. Is it that branding and visual wise, that just should be like a yellow banner up the top. That should be and a lot simpler because
Mm.
something you're wearing on your t-shirt down here.
Hi, it's Happy Coach Thai.
So this is what's it called? Happy Coach.
Yep, Happy
Tie.
Coach.
Yeah, I mean it's a real clear. I mean I can't see there because of your hands, but it's a clear, simple graphic, and that should be up there as part of your branding. It should be this consistent branding. Just every time you jump on a video, you wear that yellow T-shirt, and you become known for that. It helps you. I mean, these are all small things, but my point I was making there was the value of you putting up those random videos
Yep.
immediately enabled me to help you. If you had put nothing up, I would have gone, well, I don't know. Where do we start?
Yeah.
So this is a process. And I just want people to understand that we all want to have the perfect video and the perfect channel and the perfect engagement first up, but it never ever works that way. And this
Yep.
is the process. So two thumbs up for starters, Yuantai.
Yeah, Yuntai responded immediately, actually, after I put the message out that we were looking for someone. So Yuntai, I think, has this. I'm just guessing, but his philosophy in life is, yes. Now, what did I say yes to? You know, um, and I think it's really great. So I think of this show. You're talking about how we leave our footprints, our digital footprints everywhere. I like to
Yep.
think of this show as one where we help you to leave nicer looking ones, so that when they
Mm.
discover you and they go, oh, this is a really beautiful footprint, right? So I agree that the yellow color is really good for identification. It's an iconic kind of look. What I did have a little bit of a thought about was when I watched this on I think it was YouTube. I can't remember where else I watched it, but because of the way auto captions come on, and the way we are always looking at that at videos nowadays, text gets or voice gets converted into text. When we have a busy shirt with words on it, it actually becomes words on words, and that's an idea that you might want to think about as well. So I'd keep the yellow shirt, but maybe keep a simple icon instead of having words like that, because when I was looking at it, it kind of distracted me when I saw the text pop up and it was sitting on top of other words as well. So it just was a bit busy. Just an idea in terms of ergonomics when people are watching your videos.
Yeah, and that's exactly the reason I have a plain set like this, is that because I put a lot of graphics up. I mean, sorry, this is going to come. I'll put it up anyway. We'll see. So, I mean, if I bring graphics up or words,
Yep.
is they read very, very simply on a plain background. And I also, you'll notice that the clothes I wear is that I never ever wear anything with writing on it, because at the moment I'm mirrored, like I'm back to front. That says record session, right? It's back to front. So if I put anything with writing up, it'll come out reverse. The reason I'm mirrored is because all through our life, when we see ourselves in a mirror. That's what we know. You put your toothbrush up to brush. It's easy when it's in a mirror. If you were to try to, this is the acid test. Get a cutthroat razor, all right, and try to have a shave when you're looking yourself on video without it mirrored. It's almost impossible. You'd slice yourself to pieces. So when you're presenting live and you're doing virtual, it's much better to be in the mirrored mode, because I know that if I'm going to point at something there, I'll point to it. If I'm reversed, yeah, I'll do it. I'll just unmirror myself. Hang on. Why is that? Oh, hang on. That's you. I've unmirrored you. Let me select the right person. That's me. Okay, I'll unmirror me there.
Would you like an unmirroring sound effect while it happens? I think you're still coming in nicely mirrored.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Well, look, listen. I won't do that. I'll leave it as it is. But believe me,
Yeah.
it's so awkward if you do it back to front like that. So
Well,
that's
it's
it.
one of the
Yeah.
nice functions that are available on most online software as well. And I think one thing is good to be aware of is actually what happens to it after it's recorded. Because in Zoom or in especially I think Ecamm as well, if you might see yourself differently from how it's recorded, and so Zoom makes it becomes a comfort thing. It gives you a reflected view of yourself, but it doesn't mirror the image that goes out online. But I've seen a lot of stuff on Instagram, for instance, where people are using the selfie camera and selfie apps. And there's some selfie apps that that that, that capture exactly what you see, and that is the reversed image. So it's a mirror image. So I've seen a lot of stuff where someone puts up a book that they've just done a book launch for and all that, and it's in reverse. And I go like, that is kind of a waste of a moment there. So sometimes it's useful to go and look for software, simple software that can help you to correct as well. Always just make sure that your stuff that you put out in the end, no matter how you record it, whether it's mirrored or not, but when it goes out, doesn't remain in that state, so that left is right, and vice versa.
Yeah. So with this, Yuntai, with that, I mean, I agree. That's a good idea. Wear something, a solid block color there. Is it just with this some simple software? And so OBS Studio, which will work on your desktop for Mac and PC, is free, and you can just put any
Yeah.
graphics up you want. Really dress this. Uh, your verticals or your widescreen shots up any way that you see fit, and you could easily create a look and a feel, maybe with some sort of yellow border or yellow circles to match, and have a play with it. But certainly you could also get the text as well to pop out a little bit stronger. But I mean, all minor things. Where are we? So what I was looking at here, which one was it? It was one of these. I think it was this one.
Care of us. Hello, my name is Yuantai, and I am the Chief of Happy Retirement Tribe. Today, let me give you 3 reasons why we should not start planning for our retirement now. Number 1.
Oh, see. I'm glad you used that finger. All right, okay. It was so this one here again, just with the branding, and I know you said that this is old, is that you've introduced red up there, and really it should be a consistent color palette that comes through. But your presentation energy, like in this video, is really good because you're in a small room there, and you're using. I'm guessing it sounds like you're using the microphone that's on your computer or your laptop. Was that correct?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's right.
you can hear that start, the echoey sound starting to bounce around, and it starts to make it a little bit hard to understand. And the thing that I always say is distractions dilute your message. So anytime that I'm thinking like, oh, hang on, I'm not, what's he saying, is that I'm losing the message. But Joe, what can we do to sweeten up the sound a bit?
Well, there's several levels of solutions, and it depends on where you're starting your journey. I always think that if you're starting from scratch and you're going like, okay, I don't have anything now, I want to invest in some brand new stuff. One of the easiest things you can do, it's a bit more on the expensive side, really, and I'll probably get some negative remarks for this, is get yourself a MacBook Pro. Any one of the new MacBook Pros, Surface Pros as well, with the finely tuned array microphones, they've really worked out this whole audio beaming thing, so that the ambient noise that is around you gets filtered away and taken away. So that's one thing you can do for yourself. The other thing is start treating yourself like a mental patient. Have a lot of soft stuff around you. Put carpets. If you can put carpets on the wall, if you can put a mattress up against the wall for whatever reason, those kinds of things basically help the sound from bouncing back around your room. So you could invest in those expensive audio, like audio foams and stuff like that. But all you're looking for really is the equivalent of if you can think about sound like you think about light, right? You're looking for black. You're looking for something that absorbs the light and doesn't reflect it. So for audio, anything that's soft, it takes the sound in and doesn't bring it back out again, then what you have is a surface that is kind of black, right? So it stops reflections. So that's always useful. And the other thing you can do with sound as well to try and improve your sound quality, it's a simple hack, which people kind of don't realize that they have. You can use, if you have a Zoom account and it can record in HD, what you do is you use the Zoom to record your audio. And Zoom has some pretty good audio processing as well that also helps to remove that ambient sound that you hear so much of in the room, because Zoom's whole business is about trying to get the voice across. So the voice processing in Zoom actually is pretty good. You can look around for other solutions online. You can make it very complicated, but I know Julian likes to make it as uncomplicated as possible. So if you use Zoom to record audio and video, Zoom will do some processing for you that'll help your audio actually come out pretty good too.
Yeah, and it is. It's about making it simple, because if you have to like record on another app and then strip the audio out and marry the two up, you're just going to go, oh, it's just too hard. I'm not going to make videos. So, I think definitely go back and take those simpler solutions of just softening up your environment a little bit. And we used to do this. So when I was in TV and we were shooting documentaries, we would go into people's houses and we would be pulling cushions off couches. We would be gathering rugs and bedspreads from rooms and just scattering them across the floor. And quite often, even like I'm at a desk here sitting doing this, if I was using just my inbuilt mic, I would just get a towel and I put the towel on the desk for starters and just scrunch it up a little bit, because this is I've always found for inbuilt microphones on desktops or laptops, the desk is a really reflective surface. And if you can break that up, that helps enormously as well. But have you got an area, even if it's a small section or a place where you can set up a small studio, like even where you are there? Because if you have that set
where
up,
I am now. Yeah, this is a common bedroom,
yeah,
so it's not being used, and this is where I do my work.
right, okay, but
just
but
a
you
quick look around. Yeah.
but you do have a location and
Yep.
where you could dedicate even a corner, even a meter of wall.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So setting that up and doing something like, I mean, even with the backdrops don't have to be fancy. They don't have to be expansive. Like this one that you're in there. Even with that, you can, with the software like OBS, is like put a circle. Put yourself in a circle or something, and then put that circle on. Your widescreen or your square video, and then put maybe a yellow block on there and put black text in the yellow block. So wear your yellow t-shirt and then have a yellow block square with your text in that, and all of a sudden your background is irrelevant. It just doesn't matter. And the picture, it's a really useful trick, is whatever color you're wearing in your shot, make that like half the screen, your screen over here, and then put the text, a corresponding text color, like a dark color, and it just, like, the shot just goes boom like that. And so you can be just in that, exactly where you are in that shot, and you could improve that double, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the impact that'll have. And here's the thing as well. See the chair you're in now and the chair you're in there?
Yep.
Chairs with high backs, and it's sort of like gamers chairs and stuff like that, and for video, don't work. Like, they're okay, but you really want to have a low back where you don't have a headrest showing. It used to be, quite often we'd go into someone's house and they would sit in their lounge and they would have one of those high back lounges, and it just looks, it never works. We take them out of that and just sit them on a kitchen chair somewhere,
Right.
just to give them this clean air around there. And again, I don't know what it is, and it's an unsaid and unspoken thing, but it lifts the look and the quality and the feel of your shot substantially.
Right.
Well, it actually is about the focus in the frame, basically. But when you have something just behind you, it will show up in narrow focus. Whereas if it's far away, it's no longer in focus. So when you have a headrest, you have anything that's just slightly behind you, it's going to take attention away. And that can include things like you have a sticker on the wall or something like that, and that's going to also take away the attention. So the clean framing is always good, and always look out for a bit of like contrast management. Like like right now you're wearing a dark shirt and you're sitting against a dark chair. That whole shape has completely changed your shape as well. I don't see your shape anymore. It's given you a different shape. It's more of an issue actually when you use something like Zoom, because I can imagine if you use Zoom and use the virtual background currently what you've got now, you'll get that Medusa hair effect that happens because it thinks you've got a wonderful hairstyle.
Yeah. This did not work. Hang on.
So I'll log into the ClickFunnels.
Hang on, we've got
create a landing page and extract.
Yeah. So that's and that's Zoom struggling, and it's wonderful that it can block out the background, and it is getting better. And it also goes back to what Joe was saying earlier about upgrading. The best thing that you can do now is put any money that you've got into upgrading your system. As best, as fast a processor as you can get, So if you're on Mac, something like the M2, I mean the M1 or the M2 chip, but RAM, random access memory, minimum 16 gigabytes, absolute minimum, preferably 32. It's going to cost you a bit more, but you wait. So I've got 32 gigabyte. So I'm on a Mac Studio, and so it's got an M1 chip, an M1 Max chip. So it's a good chip, and it's got 32 gig of RAM. And I've got like all this open here, and I've got Keynote, I've got Camtasia editing program open, and a whole range of other stuff. And I'm running at 31% on my processing power. And I'll tell you what, that just gives me confidence that this is not going to fall over and crash. I've got all this extra grunt. So stay with the webcam you've got at the moment. Stay with the built-in microphone. Don't worry about that at the moment. Save your money, put it into upgrading your system, and then bit by bit, you can add the extras. But at the moment, that is going to give you way more value. And
well, if you're not on a Mac, one of the ways you can get a system that tends to be quite good for video and stuff is look at gamers' computers. So a gaming computer, because of the high frame rates and stuff like that, they tend to invest quite a bit in the video aspect of things. So if you're looking for a laptop that is able to perform well for online stuff, then a gaming laptop, as childish as it sounds, is actually quite a great solution because it's designed for high performance for video, and it'll give you more of that confidence as well.
Well, the gaming world has been absolutely fantastic. So, these little devices, they come in different brands, but this thing called a Stream Deck is made by Elgato. Elgato is a gaming company, and it's just brilliant. I have so many bits of Elgato stuff around now because they were years before COVID came and before we were all, in a sense, like hitting the side of the head and said, oh, have to go and do this virtual thing now. Elgato was already doing this. I mean, 5 years before in the gaming community, and now they've just had this huge, last couple of years, rush of money because all the non-gamers have been going, oh, we need this stuff. And the improvements have been phenomenal. And Elgato, I must say, I've got no investment in, I get no kickback at all. It is really well made. It is surprisingly good. I think worth every cent you pay for a piece of Elgato gear. Yeah. Just when you're looking at your screen here too, Yuantai, see the four shorts below. See how it's like a curve. Your eye line, okay, should be consistent the whole way across. So a general rule of thumb. When you're in widescreen, a fist's worth of room above your head. So what you've got now is about perfect. That's great framing. It's a rough rule of thumb, fist. When you go vertical, it's a little bit more. It's okay. It's like your two outside ones there, but it's not like your two inside ones.
Right.
Yeah. So it's it varies what you do when you're in vertical, but it is certainly up around the 2/3 to 3/4 level that you want to put your eyes. But the thing is, just make it consistent. Consistency, is very powerful.
I think for vertical framing especially, I think the advantage you lose out on if you don't frame yourself with enough space for the body is you lose that expressiveness you can have with the rest of your body language. So the vertical is actually very useful in that way. And I think what I can give you as a kind of a guide is use the volume, but use the power switch as a reference. Your head should be around where the power switch is. The power switch and the up volume usually is about the same on most phones. That's a very simple way for you to keep your head in the right place. And in terms of composition as well, on the videos you've got there, the composition is pretty good.
Sorry, hang on. That's not a bad idea. So your switches up here is about where your eyes should be. Yeah, that's a good one.
Right.
The other thing that I was looking at just in terms of framing. So like the verticals you've got, your camera position is vertical. But
Yep.
right now, the one that you're on right now, when you're looking at us or talking to us through the webcam, it actually is positioned high, looking down on you. And for me, that's it actually makes for a slightly diminished kind of perspective. So it's looking down. It makes you a bit smaller. Just in terms for me, in terms of
Gotcha.
presence, in terms of how that looks, it feels yeah, it feels like a less solid state. So now like you're doing now, you're making your adjustments. What's nice about when you have a camera that's kind of sitting vertical, it sits it sits strong in position as well. You'll notice things like your background, where your the architecture in your room as well, right? The lines are actually straight now. That's pretty good. But right now, the problem is now you are a bit low in the frame. You're
Yeah.
right in the middle of the bottom of the frame, so you want to be bringing yourself back up again,
So the
and you'll
problem
find
is
that
not, sorry, let me just jump in here. Yuantai,
yeah,
the problem is not the framing of your camera. The problem is the level of your camera. So it's
yeah,
level, locate, and lock. You level your camera. You always put your camera to eye level. You locate the lens, and then you lock onto it. I mean, that's not, I mean, I'm talking to you off the screen here, but if you're making a
yeah,
video or presenting, you level, make sure it's level, you locate the lens, and my lenses, I have a little bit of orange tape on mine. I'm using smartphone here. And so I know always where to look, and
Yep.
then you lock on. There's only one place you look when you're speaking, and that is straight down the barrel of the lens. And so it's, yeah.
Right.
So just it's simple. Just always make sure it's
yeah.
level. Yeah. And because
So one of the things
because,
that I try to teach people about, Julian, I'm getting your input on this as well. But I try to get people to have their webcams at eye level, which is technically a little bit of a lie, because I think
Yep.
I wonder, where do you actually point the middle of a lens as a cameraman? Where would you like to have the lens versus someone's face? Is it at nose level or eye level if you're
eye
doing a
level.
bit of fine tuning?
It's really simple because as humans, what we do when we have a conversation, if we're, okay, you walk up to someone in a cafe and they're sitting, and you walk up and go, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" And you haven't met them before. What does the person at the table do all the time? Stands up straight away, because as humans we communicate face to face, eye level to eye level, and then once you've had the pleasantries, you go, "Oh, let's both sit," like, because that's how we communicate, and the camera is exactly the same. So I mean, for the thousands of people, of presenters I've had in front of the camera who are doing a piece to camera, there's like if they're not looking straight down the barrel of the lens, like it's
Yep.
stop, let's redo that. There's only one place to look, straight down the barrel of the lens. Yeah.
Got it.
I
Sorry
think
to
we
be
should
so
stop talking a
forceful.
bit and ask Yuantai if he's got some questions.
Actually, there are a lot of very good tips, technical tips as well. I've written down quite a lot of notes. Okay, so I'll ask, aside from the sound and the visuals, in terms of the content strategy, will you guys be able to share a little bit on your own experience on content strategies?
On content strategy, yeah,
Yep.
I pretty much make it up as I go, to be honest. So I mean, because if you go and look at my YouTube channel, it looks like yours. I mean, my YouTube channel is just a repository where I sometimes go and dump a video. Like we're, in fact, right now we're going live into YouTube,
Yep.
and this video will stay up there. But I'm putting no effort into my YouTube channel. I've had a YouTube channel, Julian's Magician School, still there. It's a proper YouTube channel that I had about 7 years ago. So it's got 30 million views. It's still got 140,000 subscribers. It's got 150 videos that are, all themed, all done properly. But after 150 videos, I got exhausted and worn out by it. And
Yep.
what happened was that when you stop feeding the hungry monster that is YouTube, it drops you. And I can show you my for years it went along, and then the algorithm picked me up. Boom, I went up to my high, and you can see literally on the week or month that I stopped, it started to reverse. And so, because you think, oh, I've done all this hard work now, that's going to sit there for me. No. And so I've decided that I'm not putting any more effort into a YouTube channel, because unless you're really willing to get in there and push it, it's not worth it. And I see these people all the time selling, come and learn how to become have a YouTube channel. It'll be successful. Don't worry. You've only got to put a couple of hours in a week. Oh, liar, pants on fire. It is not. It is a full-time job to run a successful YouTube channel. Strategy-wise, I would say don't worry about a YouTube channel unless you're really willing to push hard on it. I mean, do it, put your stuff up there, make it look sort of half good, but don't waste any time on it. And I know you're going to have is people, if anyone hears me say that, they'll be go, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Been there, done that. So strategy-wise is that me, and this is only me I'm talking, I choose one platform and I focus on that. And my platform is LinkedIn. And for me, that's where I show up. That's where I put the effort in. I send my videos to other channels, but it's not my focus. I just don't have the energy and the bandwidth to do that. Maybe you do. What about you, Joe? What do you think?
Well, my policy on content is if it's bad, it dies, right? I mean, you have to be a bit more careful about the stuff you put out, and I want people to know at the very least when something comes on where I'm on the camera, it's not going to be a waste of time. It's going to have some kind of reason for being, and not that I'm a serious person. I mean, I do comedy and stuff as well. But you've always got to understand that the moment anyone makes a decision to spend a little time with you, they're paying with time, and you need to give them something for that. So that's my whole thing. So I watch the stuff that I have out, on video. I like to think that everything I put out has some kind of value to it, or at least is produced well. I always think what people are going to think when they see this. Right. So does it help? Does it add more points to what I want them to think about? As in, if I'm thinking about the environment, does it score points in that area? When someone looks at this, for instance, and the quality of the output that we both are putting out, does it help cement the idea that we are really good at what we do? That's also these are the meta messages, right? I had a haircut just before I came onto this show. I may not be wearing pants, but I had a haircut. It's all important what happens on the screen. And the idea now of content, I'm actually working on some ideas to get that first moment to be interesting on video as well, where you see something that's out of the ordinary, not quite what you're going to see. So what I like about what Julian did for Monday Makeovers and the other programs, that you put on as well, is you've got this waiting intro that looks animated. It's kind of fun, whatever it is, and that looks different from what you see from the rest of what's going on LinkedIn, for instance. And you are going to just take that extra moment to go like, oh, what might this be? And that's all we have a chance to do, to say what might this be, because the idea that all our stuff is going to go to everyone we know, some of that's going to happen, but every now and then what happens is the algorithms are testing. They're always going to put it out and say, okay, slightly out of the usual audience, would people like this? And if your stuff isn't worth paying attention to, it's going to show up in the algorithm. The audience, the algorithm is going to realize that, oh, okay, it doesn't catch people's attention. People don't stop even for a moment. Getting people to stop for 2 or 3 seconds for your video, even though they don't watch the whole video, gives some feedback to the system as well. And at least gets people to go, oh, okay, the algorithm goes, okay, this video had something interesting in it, and let's try it out some more. So your video production, I think it's the first few seconds of your video is always about trying to get people a little trailer almost of what's going to happen. You see this a lot in growth hacking as well on some of the other YouTube channels. The first 10 seconds always are out of context content from the middle of the video, so that you go, oh, what's that? And then you think, where am I going to see this? How am I going to see this? I want to know more about that. And that's the kind of disruption you have to bring in with your video. Don't waste time on your videos, openings of your videos, with long introductions to tell you what the whole thing is going to be about. No, just try and get in the middle of the action.
So yeah, and to follow that up, so start with a hook of some sort. And I saw that you did this here with I think it was the anti-fragile video that you did, and it's just even, I mean, posing a question, see, I mean, just thinking, if I was making a video about anti-fragile, I would maybe have the say, what's anti-fragile, or anti-fragile, what's that? But have the video shake at the start for the first bit, and then come in. So what you do is you have a hook, and then you have a promise. What you want to do is tell people very quickly what they're going to get if they invest their time in watching this video. So I'm trying to think of an anti-fragile thing, but you'll just tell them. I used to be completely confused about anti-fragile, but I learned this one really important thing, and that's what I'm going to tell you today. So they know, oh, okay, right, and this is what I'm going to get out of it. So rather than just going on and rambling. And look, there's many different ways to do this and approach this. I'm slightly different. I don't worry that all my content, so let's go back for a moment. Video is really important, but it's just part of a mixed media strategy. I mean, I love video, but it is just, just written word, images, some video, some vertical, some widescreen, mix it up, test. And a lot of my stuff, I mean, all my stuff I think is good stuff that I put out, but I put stuff out that I think is really good, and two people watch it. I put other stuff out which I think, okay, I put it out, and all of a sudden it gets thousands of views. I mean, but I consistently in my own head, I never put stuff up that I'm not proud of, and it might not work, but I am proud of it. And I go back and I rework content. I put content up in a rotating calendar of 3 months, and it's pretty much the same stuff, and it goes around 3 months. But I go and I look and I go, for the last 2 cycles, that's done nothing. That's out. I replace it with something new. So I'm always refining, keeping the good stuff, getting rid of the bad, and improving. And then, like today's video, so I'm using like an automated system. I just go in and I just go pause today, because I know I'm going to do a live. And I just say, pause that day and go out and do a live, and it'll just carry on. So last week I was really busy doing delivery of work, and I just didn't have time to do much. So my auto system ran through. But to me, it's all good quality. It's stuff I've really thought about. And I noticed with your thinking here, Yuantai, it's good. I mean, I was watching your videos, kick procrastination, the 3 ways to make yourself anti-fragile. I mean, you've got your content, you've worked hard on your content, and that's what you need to do, is keep refining that and keep finding better ways to say it and make it more engaging. But this idea, you know what I mean? You look at people's posts that come up, and clearly they've had nothing to say, but they felt, I've got to put something up, and it's like, it's just awful, and I feel sorry for them. But you got to do better than that. You really do.
Well, I'm gonna blame that on some of the coaching that I hear, because I've heard some coaching that just says you have to have a presence, and they talk about just putting stuff out there so the algorithm knows you and stuff like that. And I counter it with this, right? I mean, we've all seen videos where the moment you see someone, you go like, okay, I can ignore this, and that's what happens when you end up putting up stuff where you're too present and it has no value. You don't even go into this. You don't even go into the sorting box for later. You get into you get bypassed in the ignore channel, So that's the thing that happens. And the problem is, we a lot of the thinking is not strategic. A lot of the thinking is, I saw this someone doing it, therefore I'm doing it as well, and it seemed to work for them,
Yep.
so I'm going to do it. So they don't realize that, like, there is a video that my daughters made, which was about a certain restaurant that they were in. Now, it would seem like the whole thing was about the restaurant and why the food reviewed it so well, or whether that my daughters were that interesting.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
the reason why the video did as crazy as it did was because the concept was so bizarre. The restaurant concept was, I think it's the Hello Kitty or one of these restaurants, where
Yep.
the concept was so bizarre that the concept carried the video, and so the video did very well. And there was a cute
Mm.
cat in it,
Mm.
right? So people might look at that and miss that. That's the reason why that video has any traction or was cute. It
Yep.
was a video that my daughters put out and just thought, it's gonna be not much of a thing, and it got millions of views. It was just one
Mm.
of those things. And the warning is to not pursue big views, because you really don't know. The presenters, the people who do this for a living professionally, before they do something, really don't know as well. They have an inkling that it might work. You might have like Mr. Beast, who is throwing huge dollars out. He's got a tactical team, and whatever is going on, he has a pretty good idea it's going to work. But you'll have big creators as well, who have uh,
Mm.
the self awareness to know that some videos just go nowhere, and
Yep.
it's okay, as long as they do a good thing with it.
So we're coming. Well, we've been talking away here, loving the sounds of our own voices. Sorry, you and I.
Lots of tips. I've been writing down, yeah, lots of notes here, and very
Yeah.
practical tips as well. So thanks,
Oh, good.
Julian and Joe. I'm
Is
learning a
there?
lot of things.
We're going to wind this up. But is there anything that we you didn't ask that you really wanted to ask?
I can't think of any at the moment, but I'll probably reach out to Joe privately. Or I
Yeah,
think I'll send you a LinkedIn request as well. Yeah.
yeah. So do what you want to do too is put,
Yep.
commit to doing a video a week or something, and tag Joe and
Mm-hmm.
I in on
Yeah. Yeah.
social, and
Okay.
we'll. I mean, I'd love to see what you're doing, and I'd love to help you. Just give you a little bit of further ideas or tips if I
Mm-hmm.
can. So tag us in. Happy to help.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
The one thing that I want to add is, when you asked about strategy, right? Consistency is what people are looking for in general in their own lives. They don't know they're looking for consistency. They don't understand intrinsically they're looking for that, but they like to
Yep.
know that every Monday something is going to happen, right? So
Mm.
this is why we have Monday makeovers. It's going to be here every Monday at this time, until or if we're not able to either one of us is not able to show up for it, then we'll put a, I don't know what we haven't worked out what we'll put up in terms of a replacement if that happens. But so regular output is important. So the algorithms
Yep.
have been based on some ideas like that. So if you in podcasting, in YouTubing, whatever it is, they do look at regular tempo. So if you put out
Mm.
stuff on a regular basis, every 2 weeks, every 1 week, whatever it is, that's a regular tempo. If you're totally random, it has greater difficulty figuring out how it's going to work for you. And people
Mm-hmm.
tend to live their lives in a slightly rhythmic way. They will look for certain kinds of things on Monday, and if your content happens to resonate with that start of a week feeling or whatever it is, then that could be it. You could have, like, chill out Fridays, you could have midweek
Mm.
humps, whatever it is, but on a regular basis, that's also useful. It also gives you a bit of a reprieve. I used to feel overwhelmed when I was doing radio because I had to come up with 4 hours of programming every day.
Mm.
You could just have this thing and go like, okay, now I just have this one thing that I have to do every week. You look at your calendar, you're going to have either 4 or 5 of these every month, depending on how the weeks turn out. If you do it
Mm-hmm.
bi-weekly, it's just going to be 2 or maybe 3 every month, that kind of thing. And it becomes
Yep.
much more manageable as well.
Yep. Yep. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm probably going to ask at least the help of ChatGPT or ask AI to help me craft some content ideas.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, I
I don't
mean,
know how Julian feels about that.
oh, no, I'm so bullish about AI, but I also am so cautious as well because I've just been thinking about this the last couple of weeks. Some of my best thinking, and that's not saying much, by the way, all right, okay, but some of my best thinking has come from the sweat and the frustration of rewrites and, like, of actually
Mm,
putting the time in, and
mm.
days, weeks, months, and you come back to something, and go, oh, that connects with that, that connects with that, and
Yeah.
if I just feel sometimes if I take the shortcut with AI, I miss out on those insights I get. So I'm not saying don't use AI, use it, but I think use it judiciously and
Yep. Yep.
cautiously.
Yep. Agree.
Yeah.
Agree with
Yeah,
that.
I agree with that one, Julian. The idea that you can replace thought and replace replace taste. I think that's something you should never do using AI.
Mm.
Use AI for creating a lot of volume, and use your
Yep.
taste to sort it out.
Yep.
To make sure that you're doing something that you're picking the good stuff out of it. AI is great at coming up with a lot of different things. Some of it's going to be great, and your job is to look within that and go like, okay,
Mm.
how do I make this greater?
Mm.
A little
Mm.
side note about AI is that also don't accept the first answer. Always go
Yep.
up and say, okay, well now send a refining prompt, and then see what happens, and then send another
Yep.
refining prompt, and then you'll
Yep.
find yourself getting better and better output as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yep. Makes
just look
sense.
honestly. I think it's all overrated, to be honest. Technology has a wonderful habit of beating everything up, and to be either catastrophist or it's going to change the world for the better, and that's great. But it's advertising for the tech. Like we were, crypto was going to change the world. We were going to have all driverless trucks 3 years ago, and these things. Yeah, technology over promises in the short term and under
Yeah, it
delivers,
does.
but generally over delivers in the long term. So I just think it's going to be a wonderful tool. Going to be
Mm.
using video, going to be using AI, going to be writing, going to be put. It's just a tool, and yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Yuntai, for doing this on the maiden voyage of SS Monday Makeover. Uh,
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
with
Pleasure is mine. Pleasure is mine. Thank you, Julian, and thank you, Joe, for inviting me.
Yeah, it's been terrific. And Joe, I'll see you back here next week.
Yeah, we've managed to do one more journey than the Titanic did. So I think we're on a good journey now,
There you
a good
go.
path.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna I haven't got outro video made for this yet, so
Okay.
we'll just
Well,
in a
let
very
me just put this out then. Let's just say, look, if you'd like to have a Monday video makeover, a makeover with us, just let us know.
yeah.
PM, do a direct message either one of us, and we'll get to chatting. Just show us some of your stuff, and if you're willing to learn, we're willing to teach.
There you go. Well, in a very inelegant way, I'm just going to wave goodbye and say hooroo. See you all.
There you go.